Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the WGLNA Season 2 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left, David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. If you're not watching this on BattleViewer.com, go over there right now and check it out. And finally, follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date with what's happening in the community around you. One of the things you want to remind you guys is that Quinn is going to be in here Thursday presenting us the questions that you have asked to us, and we will then answer those questions directed to us live here on the show. So use #mailbag to ask us your questions and then tweet those @WGLNA. Another thing that you guys can do is answer the question of the day.
Which is, if you were to focus fire, when would that be most important?
So if I were to focus fire, I think that would be most important during a time like we just saw here onto Ghost Town, where high voltage kind of being bought kind of around the corner. Claw wanted to come here, and they're just the beautifulness. That the beautifulness of taking those tanks out one at a time. Beautiful.
It was indeed. It was indeed. I don't know what else to say beyond that. Let's go ahead and add in one more thing about the mailbag. I believe you can probably ask Quinn questions as well, maybe his military service, what you like being in tanks, that kind of stuff. He has played a fair bit of tanks.
Yeah.
Some good conversations with him about it overall. So it's not just us. You can ask him questions too if you want.
Yeah, ask him, ask the production team, ask Tim questions. Anything you guys want, use that #mailbag because we're now getting ready to go into our next battle. It is Yo versus eClipse. The face-off is ready on the side of Yo. We have lost that love and feeling. On the side of eClipse, we have Master Pupil. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off. Lost. Going to go ahead and start off with you. Now, you guys are right now currently in 9th place, right outside of playoff range. How does this make you guys feel as a team? Is this kind of amping you guys up together? Is it more pressure? Or are you guys trying to just kind of forget about that and play game at a time?
Not really. Just win. Stop losing. Pin your shots. Stop making dumb plays. It's crunch time for us, really. We got to win 2 out of 3 the next 3 matches to actually get to the playoffs. So it's basic. Fix the mistakes that we've been making the past 5 losses, and learn from. I think it's done progressing. It's time to actually start acting.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, best of luck as you guys start kind of applying what you've learned.
So have you evaluated exactly what you need to do?
Oh, there's too much. That's a list.
That's like some people have to lose and you have to beat some people to get in there. Is that kind of how it goes?
Exactly. Basically, it's like we try things and obviously it didn't work, and then we tried other things and that didn't work, and then so it's pretty much find out what we did well. We do some things very well, and some other things we just don't do well at all, and so we're just trying to find strats that actually accentuate the things that we do well. And hopefully we do it this time.
I was asking about to get into playoffs. Specifically. No, okay. Have you evaluated exactly what needs to happen?
2 out of 3. I think we need to be 1. I think how it works right now, it's whoever is 4 out of 5 or 4 out of 6 will break in. So 2 out of 3 would put us right in that ballpark in points wise.
2 out of 3. It's a good goal to have, and best of luck as you guys shoot for it. Now, Master Pupil, over to you. First of all, just wanted to just give you, again, style points on the entry. The slow turnaround to the swag glasses. Really appreciate it. So my question to you guys, as eClipse, this is your last battle of last match of the regular season before we go into playoffs. So as a team, just looking back, what do you feel is the thing that you guys have grown in the most for this season?
Well, I mean, we've always been good when it comes to communicating. I think individual play has definitely, been fixed over time because there's a couple players who have, not done the best. And but I think the best change to the team would have to be the addition of Mort and Brett, and Militaris, of course. Having a consistent lineup is what we needed for our team.
All right. Well, congratulations on having that. And again, like David pointed out in the pre-game show, Brett doing a fantastic job. So give him a high five for us.
Definitely looking at a nice roster at this point in the game. So great pickups from there, and definitely looking like they're already in the playoffs.
Right.
If I calculated correctly. So people, you're talking about that communication. Who is it that calls for the focus fire, or do you have kind of a system in place?
Well, I try to call for the focus fire for the most part. Tigers is busy calling the strats. Zim's busy, doing his thing as a scout, and I'm always in the brawls and whatnot. I'm never in the back, so normally I just yell out who to focus fire, and It ends up working out.
Would you say that you're in there to farm your fantasy points, and then you just
Oh,
focus
without a
out
doubt.
whoever going to kill you?
Fantasy-
so that you
fantasy
can
points
farm
all
more
the way.
fantasy points.
I
Let's
think
see how it
sadly
is.
Vetro's gonna beat me, but I'm gonna try my
course he
hardest
is.
tonight.
He's Vetro, man.
Well, best of
Yeah.
luck, Master Pupil, as you try to get those fantasy points. Gentlemen, before we get into the battle, Lost, is there anything you'd like to say to Master before we get started?
Best of luck, man.
Master Pupil, your response?
Good luck, yo.
All right, best of luck to both of you guys. We'll see you in the battle.
Nice.
I see what he did there. I see what he did there.
Very good joke. So, yo, missing that 10th roster place.
And he wore sunglasses because the Mona Lisa has sunglasses.
You know, there's a good chance that is true.
What a boss.
You know, actually, now that I think about it, he probably wanted to turn around with the sunglasses on and then say yo to start everything off. He might have actually done it. We just didn't catch it.
And we didn't start on him. Yeah.
Well, you know,
Hey, such is
he
life.
got it in at the end.
Such is life.
Well played, pupil. Talking about whether he's going to be Vetro. We'll get into that in a second. Yo prefers to play Ruinberg with the E5, maybe. And Lost Love and Feeling is their lead scorer for now. eClipse with 22 battles on Prohorovka appears
Wow.
to be their favorite map.
Wow.
And the Object 140, their favorite tank with Master Pupil, their lead point farmer.
Okay, so you kind of mentioned why you see like teams not having the T22 as their most played tank. You're like, why? Is that a tank that some people just would not want to play? They're like, hey, this is not my style.
So it's better on some maps than it is on others.
Okay.
If you're going to be standing off and sniping and not really bringing in that whole armor to your advantage, it's not better than some of the other tanks that have better DPM, all sorts of stuff. Now, if you're going to be driving around and trying to bounce shots while hit shots while you're moving, basically just press like
T22.
triple tap R and just double tap whatever and just drive all match. Well, T22 all day.
Gotcha. So maps definitely kind of helping or hurting those picking of the T22. So again, I was talking to Yo. Very important game for him right now. eClipse. I mean, it's an important game to win. Obviously, seeding comes into play as we're going now into playoffs. But I feel like the pressure really is on for Yo to perform right now to get this victory here. And we're going to be starting out here onto Steps. So Steps, kind of a common themed map tonight. We'll see what either of these teams bring to the table right now, ladies and gentlemen. As we're getting ready to start, Yo starting on offense, eClipse on defense. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
For Yo, we have two 140s, two 907s, two T22s, and RU251 for high voltage, two E5s, a 140, and STP 62A. Sorry, not high voltage, Eclipse.
like,
62A
why are they back?
TVP and a T54 lightweight. You know, sometimes that camo just confuses me. So obviously,
it's close.
It's doing its job.
Absolutely, indeed. Again, starting out here, see if we got a little boost coming out from eClipse. Now, talk to me about seeding, right? You've been in this position before, where you're in the playoffs and now you're battling for kind of seeding positions. Do you want always the higher seed? Do you want it lower? Do you want somewhere in the middle? Is that personal preference?
You just get as high, like, you try and get as high in the ranks as you can. But there's no way to really know. You know, like I talked about, like it's what's happened every season almost. There's always a team that's played down all season long that comes back in the end and ends up in like the 6th slot. But they're not the ranked 6th team in the league realistically.
Gotcha.
So it's so frustrating. So frustrating when you're in 1st or 2nd and you get queued up with a team. You almost get penalized
For being good.
for being good. Yes, it happens all the time. May or may not be a sore spot for me. Definitely leaning towards May.
Yeah. Mayor. Okay.
Eclipse just bunkered down. East side of the map, nothing new, nothing special so far. Yo spread out. Again, nothing new, nothing special so far. Pretty standard metagame, pretty standard spotting. A little bit of damage going out to draw cab. And we'll see if this gets spicier as time goes down, but so far, the status quo on Steps. The
Yeah.
status quo.
The status quo, if you will. Yeah, again, Steps turning into that kind of map where we don't see a lot of new. One of those games, or one of those maps again, you said played a lot. It's one of the things that kind of, even if the format changes, the style doesn't, because the map doesn't change much. Maybe caps move, maybe a little bit of terrain stuff, but overall, the map stays relatively the same. Therefore, the same style of battle. It is. I'm just trying to think of when you're practicing against a team as one of these top teams right now, getting ready to go into the playoffs. Are you working on new strategies for the playoffs? And then if you are, how do you test those
You have to test them in practice, but you hope those people don't then
Right.
practice other people
That's what I'm
with
saying.
them. Realistically, you just can't. You have to practice them somewhere. Debating who and when you practice them with has some merit, but oftentimes it doesn't really work out that way. Eventually, it always gets back to everyone else through just the
somehow.
chain of practice. If you're practicing other regions, that may help, but with the global grand finals approaching fairly quickly, who knows who you can trust for that as well. They may
Oh,
start using your
that's
best
a
stuff.
great point.
Granted, if you're
I
going to
totally-
use it at the finals, it's going to come out anyways, so you might as well practice another region. But
Dark God Zim.
and he's going to go down
Wow, Bobby.
immediately under that amount of fire, but Bobby almost getting taken out as well.
Yeah, barely making it around the corner there to the house to safety. He did see Dark God Zim coming over for the spot, so he decided to get out of there. He was going to get lit up, got out of there literally just in time. Oh, but now he's going to go back. That was actually really risky. Look, I mean, still the members of eClipse firing on that position, knowing that he's probably going to get there. They now know that they missed him as he's putting that cap pressure on. But one more shot. I mean, the blind fires are starting to come out freely, and draw cap picks up Bobby, and that is now both of the scouts down for these teams. Cap pressure off for Yo. eClipse now just has to sit back, and it's up to Yo to decide what to do now.
Well, eClipse had picked off the most important part of cap pressure so far.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, Yo is also taking down what can spot that cap. So somewhat even trade overall.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah.
You could argue it makes it harder for Yo than it does for Eclipse, though.
RU251, as Tri Sniper now is trying to use it as a shield. Good enough shield?
Nothing's ever good enough to defend you on the step side unless you were to bring like a 2-on-5 and turn it sideways.
Two
which,
mouses.
honestly, given how obsessed everybody is with this cap so far, I have no idea why that hasn't happened. It's not like they don't have the time to move the 2-1-5 into the 1 cap area. So, I mean, I don't know. Pro tip, I guess. Who knows?
Hey, guys.
Who knows? Maybe there's good reasons
maybe
for it. I
you
mean,
just
they are the pros, and I am not
Maybe-
anymore. So, maybe they know better than I do, or maybe they just want to hide behind a smaller tank to keep it fair. Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe you just ruined a crazy awesome strat for playoffs. Who
It's been
knows?
done in other regions already. I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Master Pupil taking a shot there in the D5, coming up to try to take those free blind fire pokes onto Cap. As you can see right now, nothing connecting onto Chai. Couple going to the left, couple are going to the right. Nothing on the center. Yo, just going for the Cap fast right now. Full Cross and Tasty Pastry come barreling on, dropping it now down to 8 seconds. eClipse has to go and find the Full Cross, taking the first shot there. But remember, all of the damage is onto Chai Sniper in that 140. So unless he gets reset, eClipse is going to have a hard time. Full Cross can keep taking the shots. Tasty Pastry now takes some shots as well. But again, Chai Sniper is the one building up those cap points. Tigers finds Chai Sniper. He just has to get a shot now. And then eClipse will have the reset. It's down to 1 second. Someone's got to find it. eClipse needs to do the damage. No one is finding it. And Yo has successfully capped against eClipse here on offense, on steps. What a way to start out the third match of the night. And that's going to be Yo picking up the first victory. Now 1-0. They cap fast. We've seen it done, and that was it. The confusing part for me was that eClipse had, at the end, with about, I think, 7 or 8 seconds on the clock, a couple, like all the members spotted, Chai Sniper as well, and just weren't able to get those shots. Was it that his position was just so low behind that RE251, or was there a bounce that you saw? I mean, I didn't.
Well, so it was some good protection by Yo, guaranteeing that kind of south and southeastern wouldn't be a shot vector to come in. So they had to get it from kind of the E5 position, the northeast, and somebody needed to basically just lob an HE in there to make it count. There is a time for HE. That was definitely one of them. Let's go into those stats. Those super disappointing stats all across the board. Because not a whole lot of damage was done. 1,600 from Andy Pants, 1,400 from Tasty Pastry. Nobody else breaking 1,000 over here for Eclipse. 1,300 from Master Pupil, 1,000 for Draw Cab. Nobody else breaking 1,000 again. Like I said, disappointing game for those of us
For fantasy.
who play fantasy.
Right, yeah. I mean, it was a great game for Yo, picking a victory there. But
Yeah.
yes, fantasy stats, not so much.
So, I mean, I have no problem with somebody attempting to do a cap in that kind of situation because they brought a particular twist to it. I mean, the 140 hiding behind an RU251, I don't know if that was planned.
They just went with
the
it.
RU251 was sideways, so perhaps they were trying to do... It would make sense. Say if you put the RU251 on the cap sideways, Well, he's building up cap pressure on his own, which means they have to reset him. So you get some damage on him while they do that.
Found a tank.
And then if it gets close enough, you dogpile everybody else on there. But either way, if the overall game plan is to dogpile everybody on there after and use that RU-51, then you're approaching a new twist to it. Kind of a new twist.
Like
or
using the
refining
cap
it.
points
You're
as
refining it
the shield.
that makes it a far more viable and far more effective strategy. The way Yo did it was significantly better than the way a lot of other people have done it so
Well
far.
done, Yo. Picking up a victory now, going right back into it. We switch sides. Let's see what we've got for tanks.
Yo with an E5, 2 140s, an STB, 2 T22s, and an RU-51. eClipse with an IS-7, a 140, 2 T22s, a 62A, TVP, and an AMX 1390.
All right, here again now. eClipse on the offense. See what they can do. I mean, a victory on offense on steps. And maybe I'm just kind of still used to, season 1 when this happened. But that usually was like a huge victory because generally it was pretty much always defense wins.
It's still pretty much the same way. I feel that a lot of teams like to play maps like Bruenberg and Steps because they're fairly easy to defend. So they can kind of maybe cook up one strat that might work 50% of the time on offense. And then if they can make it 3-1, that's a reasonable
great.
advantage, right? All
Sure.
they got to do is defend twice. So it's a viable way of approaching things. Some blind fire coming out from Yo right now. And kind of rehash a topic you were talking about earlier is when is blind fire? When have you done enough? Just depends. Depends on the strategy. Depends on the time. If it's somebody who's spotting you actively, he's still wherever he is, so never stop pretty much until
Okay.
you find him, or otherwise
You
becomes
get unlit.
strategically irrelevant. If you were, say, at a certain point in the overall meta, Steps is played north and south, and there were times where you may pull up and spend 2.5 minutes blind firing common spots. Just a flat out time.
Okay.
Like, we're going to see if we can get any damage on that. This is how much time we have to kill before we do what we need to do.
So, I mean, that comes down to those timing things.
Right, and it's very different in this format than it used to be, and there's a lot of reasons I won't get into because it's kind of irrelevant at this point in time, but there are situations in which you would just blind fire for a period of time that is predetermined.
Okay.
But the rest of the time, it's just situational.
Again, kind of going off that branch of the whole timing plays and why those are so important. When you see them, obviously you point them out, and they're beautiful. I mean, it's just like, wow, this team just dominated the opponent. They knew where they were going to be. The timing worked out perfectly for them, and they crushed it. My only question is, how do you get those timing things down so well? Obviously,
A lot of research and a lot of practice.
Okay.
There's no other way around it, which is why you don't see it all that often. Because not only do you have to do that, you then have to actually test the strategy, look for all the weaknesses.
So you're really kind of
change
putting
out
all your
tanks.
eggs in one basket.
In a sense, for your practice time, sure. So that's not something people typically do until they have kind of a set of strategies, or at least one strategy on a map that they're very comfortable with, or they're just struggling with one. Something along those lines. So far, we haven't seen a whole lot of it in the latest format. Master People taking a little bit of damage here as he starts pushing up to
Where's he going?
a place where he can only really Lost can fire on him, and
Oh.
Lost will get
Then he-
shot back in return. And that's a trade that eClipse is probably willing to take quite a bit, even though Master People is further down than Lost at the moment. It's more often than not Lost is going to struggle to penetrate an IS-7. Well, an IS-7 will not struggle on an STB. In this exact situation, I'm guessing there are some
they're
places
banking on.
where the STB is pretty decent overall for its bounce potential. It's not super reliable. Okay. No. I was wrong. The STB here does have enough depression to get a shot off of Master People, while fairly being reasonable to bounce off from Master People, but the side turret and everything else from the rest of the tanks from Eclipse have a decent chance to penetrate it. Vulcarus taking a shot there, and pretty much the status quo.
Well, some of the shots from Yo coming out from places that we've seen, but not that we've seen a lot. Generally, we see the resets coming where full cross and losses right now. Andy Pants, Tasty Pastry also takes some shots into the cap from their position. So kind of really trying to get it from all angles to get the reset that they possibly can. Being applied right now, as you guys see on your screen, Dark God Zim, that AMX 1390.
He is so far forward on cap. That's got to be a mind game.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's running a camo net for sure, and maybe they've worked out the math and they realize that he can be stealthed from there no matter what, or up to a reliable distance. I mean, look, Bobby's coming in fairly hot, and Zim pulls off as they knew roughly when he was going to be spotted. And Master People getting absolutely lit up while they're trying to pick up that that RU-251 there. Master People taking
Oh,
one more
no.
shot, and if Lost finishes this off, but it bounces and Master People turns and keeps his tank in the fight.
Let's see if he can stay alive a lot longer there. Lost getting ready. Looks like for me for
nice
a second shot.
shot by
There it is.
Mort.
Bounces again. Where would that have more picking up at Bobby? Master People still alive here. Bounce 2 shots now from Lost. Like you said, the IS-7 kind of in a better position to bounce shots against an STB-1, then vice versa. Man, look at that. Again, it's so amazing when you're up higher and you're like, oh yeah, like, why isn't he taking the shot? And you go down and you're like, oh, we can't even see him. So many hills, so many crevices here onto steps. 3 minutes, though, on the clock. Yo has done a great job burning off a lot of time from eClipse and only losing 1 tank for it. So we'll see if that 1 tank, Bobby, again, the one that can spot the cap, comes back to bite him. Or if they will just find this victory slowly and surely, just kind of bleeding time out from eClipse.
And eClipse, I wouldn't even say bleeding, although it is technically the same word. I would go with something a little bit more aggressive as hemorrhaging time.
Okay.
Because this is
Brutal.
brutal. And they have the tanks to survive a head-to-head fight. They can't close that distance as People is on his last leg. If People goes down, Yo has a significant advantage in winning this fight overall. I mean, they have defensive positions. All they got to do is reset cap. And if Yo can get this reset any second now, they're going to be looking pretty to win this game. But they're going to go big for it. And Ajax just risking everything to get that reset. But it pays off. eClipse now has 2 minutes to make a big move. They do have a couple low-hanging tanks to pick off. One goes down as Lost tries to poke to get that final shot on Master Pupil. Ajax next up as Drawcap starting to get a little bit more shots in here. T1 Diabetic's going to come in from that other angle as we've discussed in other days to pick off Ajax. And eClipse has to go big to try and bring this in the right amount of time.
Master People going to the side, looking to line up that T22 for a shot. Drawcap actually finished him off there. T22 taking down the T22 with zone. Now 1 minute and 30 seconds is all eClipse has.
Nice moves by eClipse, guaranteeing they can put People on cap, and they're going to pressure everybody else out. This is one of the best ways to play steps. Put on the cap pressure and guarantee they can't get to the reset without going through you, as opposed to guaranteeing that they will, well, risking the chance that they will take damage. This could pay off big time for eClipse. As Brett goes head-to-head with Fulcrus, he's going to take him down in 1 to 2 more shots.
There he goes, the E5 will about to fall. 326 there, going right back, but Mort actually picking up that kill. Dropping down Fulcrus. Yo just has 3 tanks alive, and 3 tanks for eClipse have been applied to that cap pressure, dropping into 10 more seconds. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like eClipse is about to pick up their offensive victory here onto steps as well.
Nice track on Tasty Pastry, and that right there guarantees eClipse this win.
Brett taking down Tasty Pastry just to add insult to injury, and that is the cap pressure going down to 0. Andy Pants finds Drawcap, but it's just too late. eClipse tying it up 1-1 here onto steps. Interesting there as well, because looking at that, I was like, well, they still have 5 members at the point. Cap, it's down to 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. Oh, they can just send some guys around, spread it pretty easily, get a reset if they need to, and be fine. But what eClipse did there was beautiful. Is what kind of allowed that, was it not Morta, who was going pretty aggressive for Yo to try to get that reset kind of the second time going to cap. He then got stuck kind of going head-to-head. Ajax.
So there's a number of mistakes that Yo made that allowed that to happen. But we'll talk about why what eClipse did is better than the status quo in a second. Let's go to stats first.
Status quo.
Only Ajax breaking 1,500 for Yo, and everybody else falling below that mark. Meanwhile, for eClipse, 2,600 out of Mort, 2,300 out of Tigers, Drawcap at 2,000, Brett at 1,800, Pupil 1,400, and T1 Diabetic and Zim. Now, Diabetic didn't get a lot of damage, but he had some very critical positions overall, and it was important for what eClipse was doing. Now, eClipse is doing the cap pressure game, but they're using each one of those pokes and retreats to gain territory. They're not just trying to soak damage so that they can perhaps counter push really hard. Every single time things are going on, they're putting more pressure on, and they're closing that distance and making it more uncomfortable. And they got what they were looking for, an elimination of those northeastern tanks, and then dragging everybody else across the south through T1 Diabetics TVP, through the IS-7 they had, and pulling everybody back into a part and cap they can't really reset. This is in a sense, it's not 100% refined yet, but this is what I've been looking for out of that steps on the northern cap, as opposed to just waiting and hoping maybe you'll get the cap, or
Right.
maybe you'll kill
Being
enough tanks to
proactive
counter
about
push.
it.
Being proactive and making what you want happen is incredibly important, and I'm excited to see it. We'll see if it works. Well, Yo had a great offense as well, and we'll see if either of them can pull off a second offensive win in the next 2 games.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's all tied up. Let's get ready to see what we've got now for tanks.
For Yo, 2 140s, 2 907s, 2 T22s, and an RU251 for eClipse, 2 E5s, a 140, an STB, a T62A, a TVP, and a T54 lightweight.
It seems like eClipse generally going with, well, at least on steps, for more of like a spread with their tanks. Only really bringing 2 of one tank at a time. So the E5 being that one
Which
for eClipse.
It usually indicates that they have very specific positions that
Right.
they're going to use.
Hey, this tank's
And
going to
each
go well
tank-
here.
Right. Each tank has its own particular location of excellence, almost.
Looks like the location of excellence for the STB1 is going to be on top of the hill. We have Eclipse going over to boost him here. David, I mean, real quickly, it's not, we don't really talk about this a lot. Boosting, how is there like a certain amount? Wow, Dark Zim taking 348 there. As I'm trying to ask David a question. Wow, Dark Zim taking 283. David, this question is going to have to wait. Dark Sim now being unspotted. He's got to be careful. He's going through. Who is getting those shots? It looks like Ajax and Pans. They're in that T22.
It would have to be both T22s there in the south, probably getting some shots over there. Everybody else is too busy and can't fire through the ground.
Oh,
And it's also
yeah,
not
that's
artillery.
Yeah.
So-
three strikes.
There you have it.
3 strikes again. It was the T22s. Sherlock Holmes comes through again. Now, talking about the boost, is there like how many tanks does it take to boost at minimum? Is there a strategy?
It seems like it takes almost all of them to get those tanks up there.
Yeah, we usually see 6, sometimes 7.
Yes. 6 is probably enough. 7's probably faster.
Ah.
That's probably the answer. But some teams send out the scout to guarantee they have the safety to do it. Just depends.
Okay, and obviously the tanks that go up on top depend as well. Heavier tank. Wow, T1 Diabetic getting nice focus fire there from Yo, having to back off in that 50-51. Ajax looks like he's spotting him out there, and that T22 Brett being lit up as well. Mort still not until that shot went through, and now he is spotted himself. And Yo just have a nice little kind of firefight with Eclipse across the center of the map here. Meanwhile, Bobby on cap taking 300 blind fire, getting reset in the RU251. Bobby another shot. He's got to move because Eclipse definitely knows where he's at. Fulcros spotting out the 2 E5s, it looks like. Brett taking a shot, 345, and just a battle that we don't really see a lot. So many shots going across the center of the map here.
Well, with 2 angles of fire like that, you can pretty much crisscross the most important parts of the map, or the cap, I should say, and guarantee you can hit somebody even without spotting. So that's got to be a little bit frustrating for Yo, as Bobby hasn't even been spotted.
Look at that. Ooh, just barely dodging those 3 shots here. Moore getting ready to fire one in that 140. Let's see who takes it. It's going to be Tigers taking out Bobby in that SB1. But this is what happened last time. Bobby in that similar position for Yo.
Wait. Tigers got that from the hill.
Oh, what a boss! What a boss indeed. Sniper status.
Is that beyond
Success.
render for him? It might be. Granted, I mean, blind firing in the way they're doing it, where they're not spotting anybody. It doesn't matter if the tank renders or not, but I'm fairly certain to say that I don't think he would have
Can't
even
even render
rendered a
that,
tank for
that he was
distance.
there. He's like,
I didn't even think a shot lasted that far. I thought it would have dissipated by then.
the STB1.
Apparently, they figured out exactly how far west on that hill they need to go to be able to get that. But that is an incredible shot by Tigers.
Can you imagine just now it's like if you can reset from there, that opens up a whole world of possibilities.
It's actually harder to reset from up there, not just for all those angles, but we will potentially come back to that as there's a big southern push coming on from Eclipse, looking to expand on what they had going for them. But now Yo has attempted to pull them into the danger zone. Eclipse says no.
Yeah, they're like, we know what you're trying to do here.
You can see a very clear message here from Eclipse. They start pushing very far, and it doesn't matter what they could have gotten. They didn't need to. There's no cap pressure. There's no reason to push that far. So they're like, let's just pull back into our safety area, relink up back with our E5s and STB, and really hedge our bets and guarantee we're safe here. Meanwhile, Yo is looking to get that counter push, so either a wonderful spidey sense from Eclipse or just running some fairly basic logic on it. Either way, doesn't matter why.
Saved him.
The how was excellent.
Absolutely here. 90 seconds being applied on the cap pressure for Yo. Full
Or the
cross
what?
in
The
the
what?
907.
It would be the what, not the how.
That's all right, yeah.
The how is driving
I knew
away.
I knew what you
What
meant.
they did was also drive away.
Oh, Yo.
Oh, English.
Yo's going now for an Eastern presence here. Ajax being spot out. Takes a shot onto Brett. Nothing connecting, but the shots on him are 680 going to that T22 right from the straight. Right from the straight, David. 716, 1,000 going to Brett in that T62A. He's got to be careful. He will not get out of there. Lost takes him down. And that is a tank fallen for eClipse. A T62A gone. Exchange for an RE251.
Oh, that's a big wasted clip from T1 Diabetic, and that could open up options for Yo right now.
It looks like they're going to collapse upon that. Andy Pants taking down T1 Diabetic. The 50-51 falling, and now 2 tanks down for eClipse. But Mort trying to make sure that this does not turn to a loss for his team. He now finds a kill, but he will be going down to lost. Picking up another one right there. And now Tigers is trying to stay alive. That STB1 draw cap takes down Andy Pants the T22, but the rest of Yo now come over. It's a fight for the eastern side of the map. Tigers taking 19-20. Volcro's fights Dark Odds Dim. Lost finishes off that STB1. Now just 2 members of eClipse remain, and Yo have come back from a tank down over on the northern cap. 2 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock. Plenty of time to finish off these 2 tanks, and Yo looks like they're going to pick up another offensive victory.
A number of gigantic mistakes from eClipse there, and a great confident push from Yo. Wonderful focus fire and isolation on a number of eClipse's units, one by one as
There it
Tasty Pastry
is.
goes down, but there are still enough tanks here to win this, but that doesn't guarantee it's going to happen. If Drawcap and Pupil can take out Fulcrus and manage to bounce a number of these shots, they might be in business, but with Drawcap now 1 shot away, that spells the end of all feasible chances
Nice
for
track.
eClipse to bring it home.
Track there from Master People going on to Full Crows. Full Crows quick repairs and finishes him off.
It's just mean. See him trying to turn and they just keep tracking him.
He was like, no, I want it, no, I want it. Not going to give it to you, not going to give it to you. Yo picking up, again, a second victory on offense. So Steps is apparently an offensive map between both these teams. They like to win on attack, and they're doing a great job doing it. So praising eClipse for sensing that there was a trap kind of in the center road, so they're backing off. Then what happened? Where did it kind of go wrong for them?
Well, when they were pulling back, they didn't really have anybody defending while they pulled back. Perhaps even separating that far from their E5s wasn't a good idea. It's easier to really praise Yo for what they did, but we'll come back to that after the stats.
Let's do it.
Yo. Sup?
How's it
Nothing.
going?
Just checking out lost damage. 3,200
Aw,
and 3 kills. Chai Sniper with 3,200 as well in his 140. And I will call it 1,900 for Fulcrus along with 3 kills
Let's
in his
call it that.
907 as well, plus almost 1,200 bounced. That's crazy. 1,700 for Tasty Pastry, 1,600 for Ajax, 1,500 for Andy Pants, and Bobby getting melted.
Yeah.
Over here for eClipse, 2,700 out of Master Pupil, 2,000 out of Draw Cap, 1,400, 1,300 out of Tigers Mort, and everybody else falling even below 1,000. So,
So confidence from Yo.
right, it is. They're pouring down the middle, trying to get an isolation. They saw some units out there that perhaps they could
Take
get.
him.
And then when they get there, they're not there. They're like, well, let's check the time. Just go for it. Maybe you'll catch them retreating. Maybe they'll be taking a lazy path. They haven't seen us yet, so they don't even know we're all here.
Sure.
If we just keep barreling through this, maybe it'll work out. I don't know if they were more resolute than that. They're like, this will work, or if they're just like,
This is what we got.
This is the best chances we have, and they were. They're definitely the best chances they had, and it's a great call to keep pushing, and it worked out for them big time. Catching
Yeah.
a tank out,
Whew.
bouncing a lot of shots with a TVP. Just
Also a nice call from them, not worrying about Cap, pulling that 907 off
Yeah.
and just coming to join the fight.
Yes.
So a great call from Yo, now up 2-1 against eClipse. Let's see if they make it 3 or can eClipse come back and tie it up. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for tanks.
wonder if Tigers had still been boosted on the hill, if that would have made a big difference. Probably.
Oh,
Yo,
good
with a 260,
point.
two 140s, a 907, a T22, 2 of them, and an RE251. EClipse with an IS-7, a 140, 2 T22s, a 62A, a TVP, and an AMX 1390.
Again, Eclipse with more of a diverse lineup, diverse city. Tigers stopping, getting shown why you don't stop in the middle of a train. Taking low damage there in that 140. The rest of Eclipse, again.
Whoa, wait a minute. Yo is taking a
Oh.
very short path here.
Wow.
And they're hiding? I wonder if they're going to keep motion here or if they're just going to bunker down and wait for Eclipse to try and do the northern cap pressure. If they
Oh,
can get
oh.
safe. they could easily just wipe out a huge portion of eClipse. But now they're driving into territory where maybe they have the timing down.
They're going to find Master Pupil, maybe?
Because the timing's working out for them right now. If they are
They're
if they
unspotted.
have done the timing on this, and this is the thing,
They're a
and
stealthy
doing
unit.
this on purpose, it's going to be crazy mind-blowing to me. Not because, it'd be crazy for any team.
Their entire force has now been unspotted. Master Pupil completely unaware of what's about to happen to him.
Rip Master Pupil.
Well,
no
hi.
points for you today.
There we go. One shot going through it, bouncing. Master Pupil does have a shot up. He does a little bit of damage there into Ajax, but he'll be going down. This IS-7 getting swarmed by every single member of Yo. I can't imagine what's going through Eclipse's mind right now. All of a sudden, 1, then 2, then 3, then all of them. And there it is. Andy Pan's taking out Master Pupil. David, when's a good time to focus fire? When it's 7-on-1. That is a good time to focus
You
fire.
don't have any options at that point. But yeah, I agree with you. Yo, coming around the western side, going to try and pick off T1 Diabetic, Draw Cab, or Tigers, any single one of them. EClipse fumbling a gigantic opportunity to put on triple cap pressure and deny Yo from coming back. An easy trade for an IS-7. Instead, allowing Yo to get exactly what they wanted, an early pick and backdoor on everything they're looking for. Unless Yo gets dragged out consistently, but turning on to the top of this platform and using these rocks is probably the best option they've got right now.
Tigers on fire!
Getting set on fire. 1,100 damage, almost 1,200 damage on Tiger in one volley. Now Draw Cab is isolated, and Yo just one after another, finding the right isolations and taking them down. One tank at a time.
Volkro's getting low himself, but now the rest of the members of Yo coming on onto Draw Cab. A couple, actually, just Andy Pans, as well as Taste Pastry, just setting back to take care of him. The rest going to find Tigers in that 140, and here comes eClipse from behind. Let's see if they can turn it around. That's a double kill to start it out. Chai Sniper goes down, Volkros goes down as well. 3 tanks in a row now gone. Ajax does find Tigers. Draw Cab is still alive here between Andy Pans and Tasty Pastry. He is holding 2 tanks down by himself. Mort takes down Ajax. Tasty Pastry finds a kill, but now eClipse is up with the tanks 4-3 against Yo. The loss taking a lot of damage as well. T1 Diabetic, they might be going down. Tasty Pastry turns the tank, but he's not going to get that shot in time. He's actually more focused down onto Mort. T1 Diabetic has to be careful though. Tasty Pastry coming around. One shot is loaded, but he's only going to get a one off. Tasty Pastry shuts him down. That 50-51 now gone. 3-on-3. Brett takes down Lost. Now a 3-on-2. The back and forth battle. Who is going to come on top? Will it be Yo? Will it be Eclipse to tie it up? Only time will tell. Dark on Zim taking a shot, just barely missing Tasty Pastry. Tasty Pastry shot bouncing on that T22. There comes that effective troll armor we always talk about here. 6-14 going to that 140 for Yo. 11-54. One more shot from Mort, and that is going to end Tasty Pastry, leaving just Andy Pans alive for Yo. He's looking for Mort. Mort trying to escape him. He's not going to get pretty far. Brett's shot bouncing onto Andy Pans, but the HP is hugely in favor of Eclipse. 1390 from Dark Odds about to be reloaded. He's going to start taking some shots onto Andy Pans. And this should be Eclipse with the victory here. A nice track coming out from Brett, allowing Dark Odds to run in from the side. Brett's just going to finish him off before he even has a chance. And that is going to be Eclipse tying it up. Again, here to all teams winning on offense. Just throwing that out there onto steps. But what happened from Yo? I mean, again, complete stealthy unit, right? Just going in, under the radar, popping out, finding an IS-7. That's a huge pickup for nothing.
Let's get the stats out of the way first.
I can tell something's coming. Oh.
Andy Pants with 2.4. Lost with 2,000. Tasty Pastry 1.8. Everybody else below 1,500. For Eclipse, Brett with 4.6. Thank you, Brett. Making up for Master People this time. Mort with 3.2 thousand damage. T1 Diabetic 1.3. Draw Cab with 1.2, and some just it doesn't even matter. You could just take so much damage and add it on a Draw Cab for what happened there. Now let's talk about what happened.
Okay.
So, first off, let's start with a great. Snagging the IS-7. What was very likely timing.
Awesome.
Was very, very likely timing. You look back on that, and there's a lot of different things that could go. A lot of different ways that could work out positively for them, and surprisingly fewer ways that could go bad than you would think by taking 7 tanks in one place, aside from the triple cap pressure and the returning and all that kind of stuff, which they may have an answer for. What it comes down to is they overpushed. They had Draw Cab. And this is a time to focus fire, not just leave it to 2 single-shot tanks. That's the thing. That's going to
Gotcha.
take
And
forever.
He stayed alive a
Drawcap
long
stayed
time.
alive far too long. I mean, that's a fumble on its own. But why? You have 1 tank down, a number of tanks are low health and running. With the terrain that they're in, if those tanks want to get back in the fight, they're going to pull directly back into kill zones, right? Like, so those tanks had gotten far down and around corners. Drawing them back to that corner, they can't get away from it once you kill
Right,
Drawcap.
bring them there.
So just grab tanks, grab the isolation one at a time, and worry about the low healthers. You'll get them later. And then Dark God Zim almost allowing Yo to bring it back was probably the thing that just blew my mind, because he's sitting there trying to snipe a 260 from the front instead of just driving around behind everybody and winning the game.
It's challenge mode.
And
He's just going hardcore.
I just cannot. I can't
Hardcore
forgive
mode.
that. I'm
Don't worry.
sorry. It's
Nope.
just
I
that was hard for me.
I can. It's
to
hard.
see.
It's hardcore mode, ladies and gentlemen. And now it is all tied up. Moving on to Proroka. It is Yo on defense, eClipse on offense. So let's take a look at what we've got. 4 tanks.
Yo with 2 260s, 2 140s, and 907, a T22 and an RE251. eClipse with an IS-72 Action X, 142 T22s and RE251. eClipse has got to be feeling lucky right now, because Yo could have made that 3-1 so easily.
Man, and then
So easily.
and then kind of on the other side, Yo's probably not feeling great.
I mean, we just would have asked him to ditch all 5 highlights and just have one long highlight of Yo winning that game. That was so awesome.
That
up
was
until
that was
moment.
really cool. But
Minor mistakes. Dark God Zim getting caught out right now, and he will very likely go down in Tasty Pastry and
Oh!
Focus. Driving away, kids, is not what you want to do there. You want to drive towards that so their depression can't get you. Right now, they're playing directly into the
Dark God Zim!
well, or Yo could miss an alarming amount of shots.
Or
and
Dark God Zim is
and
Neo.
escape.
Nope.
There
Nope.
we go.
It lasted too long. Chai Sniper finishing off there. Good point. Drive toward them, not away.
And Andy Penn's taking an absolutely huge volley
Wow.
from eClipse. Overall, eClipse came out net positive. I would say kind of they do need that tank. They
Yeah,
always need that
That's the
tank.
scout.
As
And
I bring
this is
together like a
Proroka.
full minute of bagging on Dark God Zim. Now to a close. He's dead, so I think he's safe from further criticism.
All right, Dark God
For
Zim.
now.
For now. Dodging that Nagatron bullet.
I mean, he's just unfortunately the first person I got to talk about, because I probably could have gone down a list of many
looking at
people on both sides
Sure.
and just one after another lit into them about what happened in that last game. But man, Yo, that was a nice start. I really like that. And I am so curious if that was a perfectly refined timing strategy.
Here's the thing.
There
Even
are
if-
spotting angles that could have spoiled everything there, but they're not very likely to be done at that point in time.
So that's what I'm saying. Even if it was or not, right? Even if that was planned or not, now the teams who are watching this know about that.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, that's awesome, but also
Yes.
scary for a lot of these teams. So we'll be seeing maybe that strategy coming out for the playoffs, maybe for the finals. Who knows? Do you think we'll see steps in the finals? Man, too late.
Yes.
Too long from there. Drawcap taking a shot. Other than that, not much is happening. Chai Sniper taking a lot of damage. Him and Lost come over the top. Brett takes down Andy Pans. And that is now a tank fallen for eClipse. I'm sorry, for Yo. eClipse picking up that one. Chai Sniper having to go off the side there as he was taking a lot of damage, but he is not safe yet. 420 going to that 140. Chai Sniper has to be careful. He's just hugging himself against the wall, making sure that he cannot be shot. T1 Diabetic might be going down here. Drawcap taking some focus fire from Yo as well. T1 Diabetic, one more shot. He's got to be careful. Drawcap taking another one. Fulcros finding T1. And that is now another tank dropping for eClipse. Drawcap bouncing a shot there at a very crucial time, but Lost is going to come over the corner to take him down. And that's going to be another tank falling. Now just 4 for eClipse against the, well, now 5 as Mort takes down Tasty Pastry for Yo. Fulcros and Chai Sniper are one more shot away. Ajax is being surrounded right now. This looks like who's going to find it will be Master Pupil. Will it be Tigers? It looks like Master is going to have a shot up in time. It is going to be Pupil taking that one down in the IS-7. Now Bobby getting lit up in the RE251. Brett just taking it to him with the ram. One more shot, and he is going to finish off. Bobby and Brett are down in a ditch.
Dang it, Bobby.
Oh, God.
We really needed you alive in that one.
That was really good.
Well, I do sell propane
Oh, man.
and propane accessories.
That was pretty awesome. No. Wow, hold on, wait. We're in tanks. We're in tanks. 4 minutes and 14 seconds on the clock. And Lost, Chai, Sniper, and Fulcros are now just one more shot. Tiger finishes off Lost. Fulcros and Chai should be going down shortly. I mean, Yo had a pretty good lead there for a second.
I mean, with the amount of time that Pupil and Tigers spent attempting to take down, I believe it was Andy Pans in the 260? One of the two of them. I can figure out which one right now. No, it was Ajax. With the amount of time they spent on either side of that 260 trying to take it down, one of them could have climbed out of the tank, busted out the acetylene torch, blown a hole through the tank, and just tossed a hand grenade in. Like, that's how long that took. A freakishly long amount of time.
eClipse picking up the victory now, increasing. There's now 3-2 against Yo. That, I mean, hey, if that's an option, why do they do it? That sounds like a pretty sweet tactic. Just have someone stall out, have your guy hop out.
If you actually look very closely at World of Tanks, it's operated by, I don't know, ghost men. They have tank destroyers with no ruse, and there's just nobody in there.
They just vanish.
There's nobody in
And
there.
then they do yell at everyone to get out, but no one's getting out. Maybe one of the biggest mysteries of World of Tanks so far. Stats?
Stats.
That's a good transition.
Mort and his T22, 3.3 thousand damage. Brett with 2.5 thousand damage. Tigers with 2.2 thousand damage. Master Pupil, 2.2 thousand damage. T1, 1.9 thousand damage. Draw Cab, 1.9 thousand damage.
You're going to go down? Wow.
Oh, 58? Yeah, I'm going down.
What?
I'm in a spicy mean mood right now. I don't know if you've
Wow.
noticed, so I'm gonna be rounding down.
Well, guys,
Full
you
Chris
really
with-
got to.
We might as well call
Four.
that 2,000. You know what I'm saying? No, that's 2,100. 1.7 for Lost. 1.5 for Ajax. 1.3 for Chai Sniper. 1.3 for Tasty Pastry. 1.9 for Bot. That's freakish. Side to side here.
Wow.
Look at that.
Pretty similar.
Very interesting.
Pretty similar scores come out indeed. Now, again, Yo, it looked like they had it for a second. They're picking up an early victory, early kill, and then kind of the exchanges going up in the north. It seemed that they were kind of coming out on top from there. Did you kind of see where eClipse turned out? Was it just better focus fire, better positionings?
And when you go up and over the rail like that, there's just so much introductory cost that it's very hard to win. And it's kind of crazy that Yo almost did.
Gotcha. Would a map like this be a great tank for, be a great map to bring alpha damage tanks? Because when you're trying to cap, I mean, they have to come over at some point.
That's a super hard topic.
Oh, no.
That's
Well, guess what? We don't have to
Lineups.
answer it because right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to go to the next battle. eClipse is up 3-2 against Yo. Can Yo come back and tie it up? Let's take a look at what we've got for tanks.
We'll see if we can find a way to describe that overall. Yo with two 260s, two 140s, two T22s, and an RU-251. eClipse with an E5, two Action X, 140, an STB, a T22, and an RU-251. So, yes, in some senses, if you can create a stagnant line where people come up and over, and you're using an alpha tank that also has reasonable DPM, then it's a viable strategy. Otherwise, always the main risk with Pro is that somebody can just up and over on you and create a fight, and if they have the right ratio of DPM per HP in comparison to you, and you're in positions they can focus fire, which most of the time you are on Pro, then your
You're in
alpha
trouble.
won't mean anything, unless you have so much alpha that you nuke a tank right when they come over.
Right, that's the idea.
But there's not a whole lot of tanks that have great alpha and sustain. It just doesn't. I mean, that would be overpowered. It'd be
Right.
crazy. I mean, like you have,
Sure.
like the W100, and it sustains for a short period of time, and then it reloads forever. But that's probably one of the only tanks that really fits that. It's just huge. Like I said, gigantic rabbit hole of a discussion.
Gotcha. All right, well, I'm glad I asked. I now know not to ask.
No, I mean, it's good to bring it up and kind of touch on why we can't really explain it. So perhaps kind of a forum thing, one of the Reddit guys, Reddit threads, would be one of those things. Maybe if we have some time in the mailbag, we could explain it a little bit
I was
more.
going to say, ask us that question.
All sorts of different venues.
Hashtag mailbag.
This is just not the time.
No worries here. Andy Pan's being spotted out. Tigers, though, taking a good chunk of damage in that 140. Being spotted out himself as we have eClipse going for a very aggressive one-line push. Maybe surrounding Yo. I guess they could always just kind of go with railroad tracks. But interesting to see what eClipse is kind of doing. An aggressive play on defense from eClipse. David, what does this spell out for you?
They're just taking down the one line. They know exactly where Yo is, so they're trying to get angles on them so they can ruin them, and they probably will. This is a tough situation for Yo. They're locked into one specific corridor. eClipse can punish them anywhere they go. The only place that they're safe is somewhat down, but the 260 is definitely still at risk. If they went up and over and tried to push on Dark God Zim, it would be equally terrible. Their best option is to get east and try and get on that 2 cap and fire on people when they come back, but they're going to pay way too much in trying to do so. Ajax going down to T1 Diabetic, and this is going to be a fairly easy game for eClipse.
Beautifully done there. Dark God Zim taking some shots in that RE251, taking a lot actually, as he's going head-to-head against Bobby. Bobby should be able to finish him off here with one final shot. No, 268 going at him. 1108, and he set on fire. No, just a little bit of a ram damage there. For that addition, Bobby finds Dark God Zim, but almost cost him his life, and there it is, Drop Cab finishing off that RE251. His life is now gone. 6 tanks on eClipse, 5 for Yo. The HP over 2,000 in favor of eClipse. And like I said, David, looking at these angles, absolutely correct. Yo just getting ruined from all sides.
Pretty much. Nothing else to it.
All right.
eClipse is going to have to throw really hard to lose this one just by positions alone. Now, they could just get impatient about the 5-minute timer.
Don't
Not
do
that
it.
any of us would be disappointed in that. But they could theoretically just wait, camp those lines from cover, and Yo couldn't do anything.
Oh, I thought you meant like they could get impatient with the 5-minute timer and then throw.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
So eClipse could get impatient with the 5-minute timer and just try and end it, and that could go bad. Other
Gotcha.
than that, it's virtually impossible for eClipse to lose. Tigers and Brett going to go off and pick off
They're gonna
Lost.
take down Lost.
And here we go. eClipse just has to basically practice their shooting gallery on Fulcrus. He'll go down any second now as Drawcap finishes reloading. And there it is, Drawcap picking him up. Andy Pants next lowest, but Chai Sniper first in line, first to die. Followed by Tasty Pastry and Andy Pants. This is just a formality at this point as eClipse is over 5,000 hit points in the lead and has all the angles in the world. Pretty much a dream situation.
Man.
And a stellar strategic play by eClipse in that situation. Well done.
Lost almost just beat Tigers head-to-head. Tigers, it came into one shot. That was insane. It doesn't matter. Tasty Pastries is going to be going down, and eClipse is going to find their 4th victory against Yo.
The 2 tanks that pushed over there almost lost to what?
Yeah, because what happened is right when they pushed over, one of the tanks just split off. It was like, oh, that T-22's got it. And it got down to a sliver of HP. He almost lost that fight.
When to focus fire, when not to focus fire. We'll get into it in a second.
Stats.
Sorry, I'm being so mean tonight. So mean tonight.
Yeah.
Wait, you all like it.
Do you? You sadistic people.
We'll see Twitch afterwards and find out exactly. Anyways, let's go into stats. I swear, if I ever own like a yacht or something, all of the life buoys are just going to say stats on them. Be like, help, we're drowning in commentary. Be like, well, I got you, fam. Throw the stats at them. Bam, gotcha. 2.1 thousand. And Tasty Pastries 140, 1.2 thousand out of Lost. And over here for eClipse, 2.7 thousand out of Drawcap, 2.7 thousand out of T1 Diabetic, 2.4 thousand out of Brett, 2,000 out of Mort, 1.5 out of Master Pupil, and Tigers and Dark Odds in both below 1,000. So,
for some reason, the idea of you saving people made me laugh. Like you actually throwing life preservers out to help people, but like chucking them aggressively. That's what I got in my mind. Like, it's more for your pleasure than for theirs, throwing the stats at this.
It's a weird aside, but I don't know. It's a little. it's like strange for me because I actually like have.
Oh,
well, dude, we're not gonna get into all that here. Now is not the time to talk about.
Did you get a ribbon?
No, man. Nobody thanks you when you save somebody like that. It's just like, good. You either did your job, or in that particular case, her and her dad just like left. But whatever. Like I said, let's not get into that. So. Well, we got the battle starting up.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this might be eClipse's final 5th victory to take the 3rd match of the night. Can they do it or can Yo keep it alive? Let's go right into it and take a look at what we've got for tanks.
You suckered me into that topic, Christian. You got me. Yo with 2 260s, 2 140s, 2 T22s, an RU251, eClipse with an IS-7, 2 Action X, a 140, 2 T22s, and RU251. So we were talking about the overall fight over here. I mean, just right here is where that fight was going on, right?
2 tanks, 2 on 1.
You've got such a distance to join the rest of your teammate that you're not going to get there all that fast. In fact, what you want to do is focus on winning this fight here so both of you can go faster.
Right.
So that is a situation where you do want to focus fire.
And Eclipse.
and just get it done.
I mean, and not that not that if Eclipse were to have lost that 1v1, Yo could have come back, but still.
Right. It was somewhat irrelevant. At the same time, say Eclipse did lose the Western fight.
Right. That would have mattered.
They're going to want 2 tanks at as high hit points as possible to fight the rest of that out, instead of one that's fairly low from a 1v1 and one that was somewhat in transition during all of the real fighting.
Wow. So Eclipse, luckily, kind of maybe getting some saving grace there. Obviously not needing that situation, but if they're into it again when they need it, focus fire, guys. Focus fire. It's the theme of the week. And Eclipse showing us what not to do in that situation. Dark Odds Zim, a little scouting run there on the RE251. Now headed back. Ajax taking a shot in that 260. Master People now pushing up further in that IS-7. It looks like Eclipse biasing themselves very much so over on the eastern side, heading up onto the hill. So we'll see if Eclipse kind of has a nice hill play coming out here. As Yo have now, they control the entire western side of the map.
And one step at a time, Yo has some great positions to do a lot of damage on either more draw cab, T1 diabetic. Anybody who wants to come down that area, if they get spotted by Ajax, and they won't. Either there's some terrain in the way, or Ajax a little bit too low at the moment. Looks like he's a little bit too low, judging by that other camera angle. So right now, Yo missed out on some easy damage, but it's not catastrophic, and it's not something they probably were expecting to get. Chai Sniper taking one shot return, draw cab now in the open. We'll see if Eclipse has figured out a path here that's relatively safe, as this river provides a certain amount of safety. And yes, they are using some of the features of the terrain here to make sure that they can kind of hull down snipe as they move in here.
Now, if you're the RE251 right now, so the two, Dark Odds Zim and Bobby, both kind of scouting each other out down there in the south. As you guys can see, both are lit up on the mini-map, and their names are both yellow. If you're Bobby and you know most of Eclipse is over on this eastern side, as a scout, do you just still maintain that position of making sure no one else comes across, or would you ever be called into the fight to come over the railroad and start helping?
You always want to kind of help out where you can. But that's not necessarily what we're really focusing on right now, as Yo trying to pop up and over and get a lot of focus fire damage on Eclipse right here. And draw cab is going to go down fairly soon here.
But Master People takes down Ajax. Before that happens, Chai Sniper the one to finish off draw cab, and that Centurion AX, and now Lost taking a good chunk of damage there in that T22. He's trying to back up to the side. Chai Sniper coming in pretty aggressively, bouncing a lot of shots in that 140. And now Mort and T1 Diabetic are kind of between their team and the enemy. They've got to be careful. Tasty Pastry gonna surround him. Mort looks like he'll be going down any second here. Lost might go down though as well. T1 Diabetic waits for that shot. Mort finishes him off there. Nice focus fire coming out from T1 Diabetic. And Mort there to find that kill, but Fulcros taking down that T22. And now Brett turns around, takes down Fulcros. 5 tanks in the side of Eclipse against now just the 4 for Yo. Bobby does take down Dark Odds Zim, but Tasty Pastry is going to follow the Tigers there. T1 Diabetic goes down to Andy Pans. It is now a 3-on-3 just like that, ladies and gentlemen. But Eclipse has such an HP advantage. Brett and that Centurion, still almost full health, is now going head-to-head against Chai Sniper, who's starting to help out in the center here. Master Pupil taking 587. He's got to be careful. Andy Pans definitely looking to focus now. Tigers, a little bit of ram damage there. 418 going to him. Tiger shot bouncing, so not quite finishing off Andy Pans that 260. He might be able to get one more shot off. No, Tigers is going to finish him off there. And now just Chai Sniper and Bobby remain with over 4 minutes on the clock. Eclipse looking good to take this one home to find their 5th victory and finish off the 3rd match of the night. Let's see if Yo can come back with Tigers taking down Bobby and Chai Sniper taking that shot. It doesn't look like it, and this looks like it is all over for Yo. Again, a huge victory that they really wanted, really needed. Again, they said 2 out of 3, so they still have 2 more of their 3 battles that they can find that victory in. But it looks like this one is not going to be it. Brett Comer over the side, going for a tight corner ram. Doesn't quite get it, blocked by that fallen cart. But this shot should be able to end Chai Sniper here, and that is it. Brett, again, his 2nd game played, already shining, and contributing a lot of points to Eclipse, and a beautiful fantasy pickup for you.
Indeed.
Well done.
Which is probably the thing I'm most happy about tonight. Let's go to the stats to show what happened there at the last engagement. Yo has a lot of great things going for him overall, and I think that's a vastly improved set in a number of ways. A lot of the risks they're taking made a lot of sense. just some positional stuff and some basic stuff that needs to be adjusted for some of those to actually be wins. But overall, Chai Sniper, 3.4 thousand damage,
Wow.
Tasty Pastry, 2100, Bobby with 2000, and RE 251. That is not small. Andy Pants with 1.1 thousand, and Fulcrus with 1,000. Over here for eClipse, Tigers, 3.4 thousand damage in his 140. T1 Diabetic, 2.3, Brett. And Master People both roughly around the 1.8, Mort 1.6, Dark God Zim 1.2, and Draw Cap getting picked off.
Well, congratulations there to eClipse. Again, their last game playing in the regular season before playoffs, so we will not be seeing them Thursday or Tuesday. And they found that victory against Yo. That will do it for our third match. Ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere. Our fourth and final match of the night, Noble versus Ping 999, is coming right up.